Dragonic Resonance is a deck that gets no new monsters from the recent mini-box. However, Week 1 results show it dominating the competition while its main competitor, Dragoncaster, falls by the wayside. This meta shift can be largely attributed to the introduction of powerful new trap cards. Dragoncaster is a deck that largely relies on beating the opponent over the head with Dragias, a card which is now being routinely stopped by traps like the Barrier. On the other hand, Resonance decks have Dragonic Slayer, the only monster in the game that can destroy back row before the battle phase. In theory, Resonance decks shouldn't have to change much to stay competitive. But if you look at the deck list players are submitting, there is an interesting change. Players aren't running Dragonic Pressure. Rather than attempting to set up an elaborate combo to deal over 4,000 damage, players are opting to win by simply outvaluing the opponent, taking out pressure for other traps that can deal with opposing threats. Furthermore, with the increase of trap cards in the meta, people are running 3 copies of Dragonic Slayer, but the deck often runs fewer total high levels, cutting out Gravity Press Dragon entirely to accommodate Slayer and the trap cards they run themselves. With Triad Drago and the Sports Dragons in the deck, there is still a relatively consistent chance that you will be able to put out 2 boss monsters on any given turn. Overall, this is my bet for the best deck in the format. However, Dragonic Resonance is no longer the only dragon deck in town. The mini-box introduces Ancient Arise Dragon and its 2 miniature counterparts. Ancient Arise Dragon boasts 3,000 attack, and the ability to outright destroy most boss monsters in the game thanks to its effect. Additionally, the Ancient Forces skill will set up the effect for you and provide the deck with up to 6 additional built-in outs to opposing 2500 attack point monsters. This deck can be played pure to capitalize on big pushes via Dragonic Pressure, but it does run into some issues. Sports Dragon, Pitcher, and Slugger restrict the player from attacking with level 6 or lower monsters, and unlike Dragonic Resonance, Ancient Forces does not provide a level increase. With space for only 3 or 4 level 7 monsters in the deck, the overall value of Dragonic Pressure plays are greatly reduced, especially when considering Ancient Arise Dragon is already capable of destroying a monster. Instead, players have largely been running the deck with the Aqua Engine to serve as tribute fodder. Having access to reliable bonus cards via monster effects is more important now than ever due to the inclusion of spell and trap cards in your deck. Remember, in order to get a level 7 monster and 2 low levels on board, you're going to need 5 total monsters, meaning it's so much easier to brick if you get your deck ratio wrong. My list is going to push this concept of hand fixing to the extreme, also including Currybot, Monster Reincarnation, and 2 Phoenix Dragon as ways to sculpt out the plays you need. Rounding out my monster lineup is Speedy Performer, serving as a replacement to last format's Thunder the Thunder. Not only does the card not require a discard to use, but it provides a larger boost and can double its effect when it targets Dragias. The card's one downside is its low attack. This means it isn't right for every deck, but in lists with a high amount of 1 tribute monsters, it is easy to take advantage of Speedy Performer before tributing it off. Outside of the mandatory Widespread Ruin, we run a few copies of Music Princess's Recital to keep our board safe. Due to the lower attack of Burning Blaze Dragon and Clear Ice Dragon, debuffs from the Barrier and Phantom Bind will rarely be enough to prevent a KO, making Recital the better choice. Both of these decks have been incredibly successful, and I'm excited to see how they shape up during the Goha Rush Festival. Let's head into the replays. So our first game is with Dragonic Resonance, and we open an incredible hand, including both Dragonic Pressure and a Sports Dragon. We are set up for later. My opponent brings out a field of monsters and then summons their ace, Heavy Metal. Head into the battle phase and swing into Triad Drago with Thunder the Thunder, failing to take it out. So we remain with 2 monsters on board. They have 1 set card face down, but we are going to be able to play a Bunker Strike and then search for a Slayer. We managed to find it, so we bring out Slayer and Dragorite, as well as remove their protection. Then, thanks to the Dragonic Resonance skill, we are going to be able to beat over Heavy Metal, no problem. We swing in with Bunker Strike, take out Thunder the Thunder, and our opponent is already below half health. My opponent draws for a turn and is going to try to counterattack. Royal Rebels Rocker is able to recover the Royal Rebels Heavy Metal that we defeated last turn. Then, after summoning Shout, they are going to be able to bring out Heavy Metal once again. Activating the effect destroys my Dragorite and boosts up Heavy Metal. They set another card for protection, and I take some damage, but it is my turn now, and I draw into a Phoenix Dragon. We recycle Dragonic Slayer, and we are going to repeat the process from last turn. We tribute summon Dragonic Slayer, pop their only face down card, activate Dragonic Resonance, and with only 2700 life remaining, they are not able to take these attacks and lose. Even if they didn't get wiped out here, we would have had a widespread ruin and been in a completely dominating position. Next up, we have the pure Ancient Arise Dragon deck. This time, we open with pressure, but 3 level 6 or higher monsters. We are forced to just clear out our hand a little bit and set up a Clear Ice Dragon in defense mode. However, our opponent does not find a single high level monster, so we are able to block off the attacks entirely. We then summon out Ancient Arise Dragon and Burning Blaze Dragon. This, alongside the skill, means we are going to have 3 very high attack point monsters on the board. Ancient Forces is even going to mill a Clear Ice Dragon to the graveyard and set up Ancient Arise Dragon's effect. We destroy 1 copy of Gazelle and swing in with all 3 of our monsters, leaving the opponent with just 1400. And we have a Dragonic Pressure, so we are set to win next turn. But my opponent immediately goes for Hammer Crush Deal. This is going to replace the card with another one in their hand, and then they will use it as fodder to destroy my Dragonic Pressure. Next, they punish me for not using my Clear Ice Dragon's effect earlier by summoning Pakachu and recycling a monster. Dragius comes down, and they swing into Ancient Arise Dragon and Burning Blaze Dragon. Clear Ice Dragon is able to boost itself up to 2600 to beat this Dragius, but we don't need to. We draw Dragonic Pressure, discarding 3 high-level monsters for Phoenix Dragon, and then in a move you won't see often, willingly get rid of Widespread Ruin. This allows us to recycle Burning Blaze Dragon and swing in for game. Rounding things out is a game with the Aqua variant. My opponent summons a Dark Magician on turn number 1, so I assume they are on the Magician Shuffle skill. We open up plenty of low levels and a Burning Blaze Dragon. We will use Ancient Forces to send a Clear Ice Dragon into the graveyard and then set our other monsters. We blow up the Dark Magician and then pass turn. My opponent draws, and then they reveal that they are not on Magician Shuffle, as they are eventually going to activate Seven's Axel Road. They have Axel Wonder Splat, Seven's Road Witch, and a Magician all in the hand. So they bring out their ace monster and then boost up their monsters with Seven's Axel Road. Seven's Road Magician uses the effect and then goes into the battle phase. We have Widespread Ruin, so we are going to deal with the Seven's Road Magician, but we take 600 damage and Seven's Road Witch will destroy our Phoenix Dragon. It comes into our turn, and we are going to do a bit of a misplay here. I summon out my Currybot and summon a Burning Blaze Dragon. And that is an issue. Speedy Performer is on the field, and I don't have any tribute fodder. I use my Phoenix Dragon to get rid of the Speedy Performer, but I'm leaving that Phoenix Dragon, a 500 attack point monster, on the board. We go into the battle phase and just do what we can, and we'll swing in with that Phoenix Dragon because it's already here. My opponent goes next, and now that it is past turn number 4, they are going to be able to recover a Seven's Road Magician with the skill. They Recovery Force to get them all back into the deck, and then they summon out a Seven's Road Witch before activating Seven's Axel Road to search their boss monster. They summon a Dark Sorcerer and then use Witch's effect. We take an absolute ton of damage here because we were reckless. Seven's Road Magician uses the effect, and then they swing in and clear my entire board. Luckily, we don't die despite the misplay. We had plenty of life points, so it works out. Going into our turn, and the final turn of the game, we show off why this deck is so good. Currybot is able to get me a second monster. Then I can summon out my Dragius. But we're not done there. Seahorse Carrier is going to get me a 4th low-level monster. Despite only drawing 2 low levels this turn, we were able to summon 2 level 7 monsters. Ancient Arise Dragon comes out, and with its effect, we are going to be able to destroy 7's Road Magician for free. Then, Dragius can destroy both of the opposing monsters before Ancient Arise Dragon swings in for game.